All right, what's up, everybody? Looks like we're live. Welcome back to Blok Gen channel. We're going to try something new today. We're going to do a live stream and talk about the markets, talk about some of the latest events that are going on in crypto news, and we're going to cover as much as we can in a short period of time so that you can get up to date and get on with your day. All right, so I'm going to start with the market cap. Obviously, a pretty bad day yesterday for Bitcoin and the rest of the markets. Bitcoin still has a pretty large dominance, almost 42% market cap dominance. The market cap took a bit of a hit. We're down to $432 billion total, and Bitcoin hovering around 10,580 as we speak. And let's look at some of the charts here. So first of all, I'm looking here at the daily chart, and this is GDAX, Coinbase, US dollar chart, and still the long-term trend, the downtrend is definitely intact. We rejected off of resistance around 11,700 yesterday. Looks like we have sort of a little bit of a double top there. And we made a little bit of a lower high, and if we make a higher low, we might see a little bit of consolidation here. The other possibility is that you go back down and retest that 9,300, 93.24, the recent low. And anything below that is anyone's best guess. We're talking about getting back down at that point, possibly to 6,000, or finding a new lower low on this long-term downtrend. So we're pretty much stepped aside today, holding our alt bags, but not doing any real trading. I don't anticipate any kind of significant bounce to happen right now. Looking at Ethereum, see we have the daily Ethereum chart as well. We've been tracking Ethereum for the last couple weeks, and it had traded within a range of about 10% for a few weeks, and a little bit higher than that for about a month, pretty close to that. And so Ethereum's been doing almost nothing, but acting a lot weaker than Bitcoin, so haven't had any interest in trading Ethereum at all. And just to get to some of the news today, we have the Coinbase announcing that they are going to launch an index fund. And, obviously this seems like pretty good news in terms of making crypto easier to access for institutional investors. And that obviously it's going to be like any other index fund. It's going to be like, the S&P or the Dow, but this one will be weighted by market cap specifically. So heavy on Bitcoin for sure. And then as they add new assets, they're going to automatically rebalance the fund to include the new assets. So right now this is only going to be available to U.S. accredited investors, which is a threshold that not many individuals are going to meet, mostly going to be institutions. But it's just one more step in the right direction, I think, in terms of bringing institutions in, and really having a wider net of capital inflows into crypto. We also have a ruling by a district court judge in New York. That's a pretty low-level court here in the United States, for those not familiar. However, he did rule that cryptos are commodities in a preliminary matter in this case. So basically, it's his ruling just allows the case to go forward at this point, but and it allows the CFTC, who brought the case, to continue with the case and prosecute it against the defendants. Essentially stating that because cryptos are commodities, the case can go forward the CFTC has legal authority to prosecute the case. You know, in our system here, a lot of things happen at the lower level, and you know, you'll get decisions made by different judges in district and general district court, and district and circuit courts, and higher courts and state supreme courts, things like that. And you have different districts in the federal district courts make different rulings as well. And when you have different rulings in various circuits throughout the United States, that's when you end up having cases certified to the highest court in the U.S., which is the Supreme Court. And unless the U.S. Government makes some regulations, passes some regulations with respect to cryptocurrencies, which clarifies some of the ambiguity that there is today with who is charged with regulating these assets, then that's another way that those sort of ambiguities get resolved in our system. The Supreme Court may end up being involved at some point, although that's a ways down the road. We also have Wyoming. The state of Wyoming has passed a couple bills, or is moving a couple bills through their state legislature, and it sounds like they passed this utility token bill that is going to head to the governor's office for signature. And basically, it exempts utilities tokens from being considered securities. Specifically, the requirement is that the token has not been marketed by the developer or seller as an investment and is exchangeable for goods and services. So it would exempt certain tokens from having to register, at least in that state. And this is another similar situation to what I was just talking about in our federal system of government. We have the states are sort of where things get tinkered with, and we try to figure out what the best way forward is. And states are sort of like the petri dish. States are allowed to sort of to tinker with things and create their own laws. And the federal government looks at it and sees how it's working and sees the different options that each state has come up with, and eventually will step in and regulate. And so, I think this is at least a good step in the right direction for people that are in favor of more freedom for crypto and less regulation in general. I think that's a positive step for people who are in favor of less government intervention. However, it is just one state at this point. And the last thing that I have today to talk about here is apparently there's been a report that some of the hacked Mt. Gox funds were linked to a shell company in the United Kingdom, and apparently 650,000 BTC were laundered through this shell company. It doesn't really talk about when this occurred, but the shell company is a UK limited partnership called Always Efficient, and I just found that interesting. Hopefully, everybody that lost their money lost their coins in that hack will eventually be at least recoup their initial investments, and hopefully more than that. Hopefully, they'll eventually track this money down and get some at least of their profits back as well. So that's all we have for today. Hope you enjoyed the live stream. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below, and I'll be happy to answer them. Also, please like and subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell so that you get future notifications of videos posted, as well as live streams once we start doing them. So we're going to try to do these more often, and let me know what you thought of today's stream. Love feedback. Any kind of criticism is welcome. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great day.